I hope you're having an amazing day. My name is Colin, and in this video we're going to have a look at Seedify. How profitable are the IDOs happening on this launchpad? Nothing in this video is financial advice, it's just for entertainment purposes only. We're going to have a look at Seedify. What is the investment cost? What are the returns like? And is this a good opportunity? So in the playlist where this video is at, you will find all kinds of launchpads and a comparison how profitable they are. So first of all, to be eligible to participate in IDOs on Seedify, you need to stake tokens. Their token is currently at a price of $12.34. It has achieved an all-time high not too long ago of about $16. So is this a good entry point? It could be, potentially. We're going to look at the trend and how much is required. Of course, I've already prepared the numbers, so here we are. These are the tiers. Tier 1 is lottery, all the other ones come with guaranteed allocation. The actual distribution of how much allocation you get is depending on how much the project will raise. The tokens required, this is not the dollar value, this is the numeric amount of tokens. So I can change the format here to basically the number that I had before. So we're talking about 250 tokens here. 1,000 tokens, 2,500, 5,000, so basically it adds up 10,000, 25, 50, and 100,000 according to their overview right here. How much would that cost? It's basically the amount of tokens times the current exchange rate at the moment of $12.34. So to get into the lottery tier, that will cost you $3,085, which is relatively expensive compared to other launchpads. Of course, Seedify is one of the biggest gaming launchpads, and therefore we expect the profitability of their IDOs to be good, which we'll see later in this video. Now, to get at least a proper allocation, which I would say is about $100, you already need to stake $92,000, which is a lot of money, in order to see greater allocations than $100, right? So this is for their latest IDO, the allocation, specifically the space project listed right here. So this project is going to raise, it's actually currently in progress, but I think they're going to raise a total raise right now, 188,000. It's almost there, so I think they're going to raise 200,000. 200,000 total on a project raise, and these are the allocations per tier. So obviously, if you have watched Seedify Launchpad in the past or not, their projects tend to do quite well, and we're going to analyze each of these one by one. But before we do, we're going to have a look at the staking, which is required. So the minimum duration is 7 days, will give you an APY of 5%. 14 days will give you an APY of 11%. 30 days will give you an APY of 25%, and 60 days will give you an APY of 55%. So the APYs are not super high, but at least something is better than nothing. The most important questions are definitely, what are these projects doing after they're being listed? We have a whole list of upcoming pools, and we have a whole list of completed pools, of which I'm not going to make a selection for every single launchpad that I review in this playlist. We're going to pick the 5 to 10 latest projects, right? So that is very important. So we're going to start with Sidus, Sidus Senate, Geopoly, Spark Era, another Hololoot here, Lost Survivor. Some of these projects might not be listed yet, but we'll see that in a second when we run the data through, right? So I know definitely Sidus is listed because I have invested in that myself. So specifically for the first project, which I'm going to list here. So for project 1, which is Sidus, and then project 2, which is kind of cheating, but that's Sidus Senate, because basically they're two tokens, but kind of the same, right? We're going to look at Sidus Heroes Sidus, which basically, I don't have to make the calculation myself, because if you go to cryptorank.io and go to the IDO tab, they have the current exchange rate and the all-time high. And I think both are important in this scenario. So we do ROI and ROI all-time high. So we have a ROI 34x basically, and we have 43x. I'm just going to round the numbers down for everything. All right, that's really good, obviously, right? Because in that scenario, I'll take a tier later and I'll show all the potential that you could get in terms of profitability for Seedify specifically. And most people want to know, when they select a launchpad, which makes sense, what is the return I could expect on average? Well, nobody can tell the future, obviously, but one thing that is, I think, very important is the consideration of past performance, which is not an indicator for future events, however, could be considered. So I know that Spark Era has not launched yet. Geopoly, I don't know if that has launched yet, so we can close this. Geopoly, yeah. That is live. So that wasn't that great. That did a 3.7 and 2.2. So here I'm going to use the 3.7 because the number is already that small. So the project 3, so we're going to do 10 projects, is Geopoly. I have no clue what the project's actually about. We're not going to investigate that here. We're just going to list all the projects. Hololoot is the next one that we're going to have a look at. And did Hololoot perform? Not really. 3, 2.6, 2.6, 3, Hololoot. That's unfortunate. So the two earliest ones did really great. Now we got Last Survivor. Last Survivor. And how did Last Survivor perform? So they're all gaming projects, right? Seedify specifically focused on that. So all-time high was quite nice, 7.51, 2.81. And I think what's most important to imagine, obviously everybody's looking for 100x, but if a project is doing 2 to 3x after the IDO, that's pretty good, in my opinion, for the investments that I do. So if I can get, especially with high TGE and low vesting, that's fine. So this one didn't do that well. And we see a lot of these, like, what was this called? A tech wagon. We see a lot of these projects like Sidus, obviously the major projects. I think Cryo Wars coming up later. That's obviously done extremely well, right? But not all of these projects will do as well, and that's just important to consider because we don't want to be moon boys. We want to be, well, I want to say serious investors. Do we really know a lot of things? Probably not. Do we know something about IDOs? Yeah, a little bit. So this one did really well, 50x and 41x. Let me just round it. So that's Spintop. We don't have that many left on our list. So yeah, Cryo War will be included. So we got Age of Tanks, Tryhards, and then Cryo War. Age of Tanks. How did Age of Tanks perform? It performed decent. 13, 3.5. Age. That's a cool name though, Age of Tanks. What else did we have? We have Tryhards. I don't know why I just opened it. That was not needed. Tryhards. Is that available? That's not available. Tryhards. It's one word. Okay, 71.5 and then a huge crash to 2.3. Okay. And that's also what we're going to analyze, basically, how consistent these launches are in terms of the viability to jump on these projects when they are released in case you would not be able to participate. Well, obviously the last one is Cryo War, right? So we're closing strong, I believe, with Cryo War. Yes, 169x and 64x. So of course, one thing is definitely for sure, the more projects you add, the more accurate of a prediction you will have. More data will always create a better average, right? However, I don't want to waste all your time. You can do this as well yourself and list out all the projects. So we want to know what is the average between these cells, which is an average return of 16%, which is basically a 16x, almost 17x, which is literally amazing, right? All-time highs on average 38x. I think CryoWar and Tryhards, they really pull that number up, that average, but it has to be included. So that looks really, really good in my opinion. I think that has tremendous potential. Now, obviously, the real question is, when we look at the charts, what happens after the launch, right? Is there opportunity to buy these coins if you are not included in the Seedify fund? How fast do you need to sell them? Because, you know, you got like some major projects here, which I know I did Gaia, I did Good Games Guild. I did a lot of these projects and they have been, well, up to the standard in my opinion. There's a lot more coming. So what is the actual expectation that you can have, right? So for these projects, even if you would be, let's assume that most people do not want to invest. So if I would do something like this, I'll probably take tier 5 because I would want at least $100 allocation, and I do have sufficient capital to do so. Most people, I assume, would go for tier 2, guaranteed allocation of about 13 bucks, right? So let's say we are in tier 2, right? Tier 2, we would basically have a, let's do the minimum ROI, because selling at the all-time high is very much unlikely, right? So the allocation is 13.46, which then we would have a revenue, but we still need to divide minus 13.46 because we want to know how profitable we would be. This doesn't include the vesting, right? If there's a longer vesting period, obviously you can't sell everything in the base format, but that looks very, very profitable, right? So you wouldn't lose any money basically. So Attack Wagon definitely didn't do well, right? So you would only make $6 on that project, but look at CryoWar, absolutely insane returns. So if you would then take, well, we'll do tier 4 and tier 6 as well, just to get an indication of what the larger ones would look like as well. I don't think we need to do tier 9, because I don't think anybody who watches this video is in tier 9. If you are, then congratulations to you. You are a big player. All right, let's see. We do the ROI times the tier 4 allocation, which was 80.75 minus 80.75. But I don't want that as a percentage. I want that as a number. There we go. So that looks, again, let me do the full number, just round it. Yeah, easier to read. That looks good. Then again, we take the ROI. Oh, wait, just open the bracket, take the ROI, do that times tier 6 174.97 minus 174.97. I see I made a mistake here, little typo. And then this is basically what we get. So in general, you can see the larger the amount of allocation you have, the larger obviously the profits if the project does really well. The major project that has performed really well, we could honestly say, are these two, this one, and this one. Just the ones then, not this one. I mean, anything that would be profitable as an investor, you can never always have the high ROIs, which some of you have to realize. This is 10 projects, of which 4 did absolutely insane ROIs, which I would choose any single day over, you know, huge volatility on the Launchpad. This is just 10, and I know if we would go down the list more, Good Games Guild did amazing, Acknowledger did amazing, Gaia did amazing, but I don't want to take up all your time, and I said I would do 10, so that's what we're doing, because I'm doing 10 projects for all the videos just to keep it even. But this looks really great. So how profitable is the Seedify platform? Extremely profitable, I would say, right? According to this analysis. Now, what we can do is we can basically pull up, whether it's PooCoin or DEX tools, it depends on the chain, right? So I'll pull up both and just see what these projects are currently performing, right? So we'll not do all, we'll just do 1 or 2. So I'll just pull up Sidus first. We'll just do Sidus, right? So we need DEX tools for this one. Then we'll run the contract. So I'm on the Polygon one, and we need to go to the Ethereum one. Okay, there we go. Sidus, pull up the chart. Okay, it's on 5 minutes. Let's put it on 15 minutes. Scroll to the start, which was not too long ago, of course. Put it on 1 minute. And then scroll all the way to the beginning. Can I zoom out a little bit? Yes, that would be better. Okay, so this is the beginning of the chart, right? So you can basically see the project opened at 4:30-ish, right? So it would be great if we can zoom in even more, and we can. All right, so then there was a little drop, and then a purchase, and then a big drop, right? So probably this is the initial vesting dump, then people bought, and then the huge vesting dump, right? People need some time. This was like an hour or so. So would it make sense to buy on the actual launch itself? Well, if you would have bought here at 6 cents, right now it's 6.4 cents. Did it have any major movement in between? Well, yes, it went all the way back to 8 cents. So there would be some decent opportunity multiple times to sell off the token if you would have purchased here on the first major red candle. There was also like a huge red candle here, but it was recovered quite quickly. So yes, that would make sense in this example. All right, what else do we have? Let's pull up a smaller one. No, let's pull up the one that had like a major drop, tryhards. I don't know why specifically it had a major drop. We're not going to investigate that because there must be a solid reason for that huge drop, right? So it basically went from, all right, so that probably has to do something with the opening price that has been manipulated, because on the coin market cap, which usually takes 24 to 48 hours after launch, it is not visible, right? But on PooCoin, it will be visible. So we're going to see why that occurred. So it's still actively trading. You can see at the bottom of the screen, trades are coming through. This was the opening, and you can see that there was a huge all-time high spike in the beginning. So this was either some, bot action or whatever was happening during that moment. I'm not going to move the chart again. I just want to show you that basically it opened probably at IDO price 0.1 and then did like 100x, more than that. Is that correct? 20x. It made a huge run at least. So it opened above the IDO if it did like 71 times. And then there was like a slow decline with a lot of purchases in between, right? So again, you would have had the opportunity here to join in even after the IDO, right? We're going to do one more if there would have been opportunity, which like a smaller one. Like let's do Hololud. I haven't looked at that. I also don't know what the project is about, but it's Binance Smart Chain, so we can go to PooCoin. It did have a crazy run actually today, 44% up, so that's crazy that we're just now looking at it. And I don't know, it got listed not too long ago, so there's not too much to scroll. But basically, again, on the first candle, basically in the first 10 minutes, it opened up really high with some massive buy orders, spiking. This is basically slippage, right? Spiking all the way to like $1.50 and then dropping again. So would have basically the large candle indicates that there would have been a buy sell opportunity if you want to take that risk if you didn't get into the IDO. Then basically kept quite stable along the way and decided to drop slowly with the performance of Bitcoin over the last couple of days. And then today it had just like recently in the last hour, it had a major spike. I don't know why. So was there an opportunity in the beginning? Yes. Is there an opportunity general to buy with these gaming projects? Usually, it doesn't really matter on the Launchpad. The gaming launches are usually quite hyped because the IDOs are very limited. The market caps are low and the amounts to be raised are not millions. They're either 100,000, 200,000. Maximum I've seen is 500,000. The lower the initial market cap, obviously, and circulating supply, therefore, the higher the potential. To conclude, is Seedify, although at the moment a little bit more expensive than other platforms relative to their allocation tiers, is it still a highly profitable platform? Yes. Is it, in my opinion, still worth it to join? Yes. Am I going to join? No, because I think there are other opportunities that require my attention currently. Will I ever be back at Seedify? Yes. Will I make an update video at that moment? Also yes. If you enjoyed this video and you found all the answers you were looking for, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and go check out that playlist, because there are many more videos there that you can watch to see how profitable launchpads actually are based on my analysis. If you have any questions about Seedify, drop them in the comments down below and I'll try my best to answer them for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.